Hello, and if you like any of these engines, you're a little bit silly. Like, you're not stupid, you're not wrong, but you're just like, you're a little bit silly. First, we have the London and North Western Railway's Cornwall as built with the fucking boiler underneath the driving axle, which I don't even want to know how that works. I mean, I've seen Anthony Dawson's video on Cornwall, and I sort of understand why they put it there, but it still just boggles my fucking mind. It's so stupid. I love it. It's just a little guy. Next, we got the Johnston 16 wheeler from New Zealand. I don't know the exact history of this engine. All I know is that when they were giving out wheels at the locomotive factory, this thing was probably first in line. It's like, why do you need that many fucking wheels and that many comically small wheels? I know it's like probably a logging locomotive or something, but Jesus Christ, so many wheels. I love him. I want a plush of one. I want a plush of one of these things. It's just so adorable. Little guy. Next up, we have Pet from the London and North Western Railway's main locomotive works. From what I know, this is an 18-inch gauge locomotive, which small. And the fucking tank on this thing, the tank, it's just a box on top of the boiler. I love it so much. Coupled with the chimney that looks like a fucking trombone, and the comically large brass dome, and the controls on the outside, which I'm only just noticing. This thing is so goddamn goofy. If you drove this, you'd need to have a propeller hat and a comically large lollipop as well. Next up, we got any double Fairley outside of the UK. Specifically for this one, Janus and Mountaineer. Like, what the fuck are these double Fairleys with, like, American design influence, I guess? Look so fucking cursed. They are... Oh god, they are, like, so stupid. Once again, this is definitely a propeller hat sort of locomotive. You need the propeller hat, you need the suspenders, you need the lollipop. Looking like the fucking Do the Raw kid. Next, we got the EMD Class 67, which they're just Class 66s with a really bad haircut. I don't know. They're so silly. I like that they're fucking sloped. It looks really silly. I can see why people call them skips, because they do look like a fucking garden skip. That's so silly. I feel like I'm meant to hate them, but I just can't. I feel bad for them. They look so silly. I feel so bad for them. Next up are any of the Black Fives fitted with Caprotti valve gear, but very specifically, the low running board one. He's a silly little man. We don't bully the silly little man, okay? He's the fucking we don't bully him. He's just a silly little guy. He's a silly little guy, and it's his birthday. We don't bully silly little guys on their birthday, okay? Next up are the Great Western Railway Vale of Rydal tanks, and I just don't think you could find a more square conventional steam locomotive outside of, like, the Wisbech and Upwell tramway. They're just so fucking square. They look like a Minecraft build. They look like you made them in Stormworks. They're so goddamn square. These boys are boxes. The tanks are higher than the smoke box. They're just square little guys. Just fucking Minecraft builds out here. Now, any engine with a Ridgeway spark arrestor. I don't know what it is about these, but they just look like a fucking witch hat. They're so silly. It's fucking Halloween locomotive. It's so silly. Now is any type of Steam Sentinel, specifically this one, but any type of Steam Sentinel will do, because they are all equally goofy. They are such silly little boys. They're so fucking small and so fucking goofy. I love the idea of them, and I love how they look. They're so silly. Just little goofy guys. Finally, we've got this specific type of engine from the Yorkshire Engine Company. They just look like they have really long necks, and I like that about them. They have comically long smoke boxes compared to everything else on them. They're just so silly, especially with like the slanted cab roof. They're so goofy. I love them. Thank you for tuning in again, and as a special little treat, I'm going to leave you off with some footage of Bonnie Dundee that I took on the Cleethorpes Coast Light Railway. See ya.